Hi everyone, this is your favorite film critic Jay or Jaylan Salah, as you formerly know her. Today I have a great friend and a podcast host, someone who I'm really happy to recently know through Twitter. One of my recent searches for conversations with cinephiles and podcasters and film aficionados. So today I'm talking to Jeremy Bryant, husband and father to three, host of Paranormal, The New Normal, co-host of Maniacal Music Musings and The Asylum with Harley and Joker. He's a lover of the paranormal movies, music, video games, and comic books. So Jeremy, I'm just happy to talk to you today.
My pleasure to be here. And you actually got the name of my music show correct. Nobody does that, so I am so happy right now.
I mean, I beg to differ. I beg to differ.
Yeah, no, nobody gets that correct. Holy crap! I think that's a first.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm honored. But I am very particular with names because everyone gets Jaylan wrong. Everyone says Jaylan. So for me, I'm really particular with names.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I'm made me happy, so that's it.
So today we are discussing Frankenstein, the new Guillermo del Toro adaptation, which blew me personally away and exceeded my expectation. And this is something rare these days because yes, they make good movies. Yes, there are movies that we enjoy, but to exceed my expectations in particular things, nada. So I want to know, first of all, were you a Guillermo del Toro fan? Because I am, but not everything that he makes kind of like blows me away. I want to know your relationship with that particular director.
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro. I mean, I can't say I've seen everything he's ever done, but I have seen a lot of things he's done. He's always been a good director, really good director, and he puts interesting spin on everything he does, which is the cool part. I mean, and like I didn't know this Frankenstein movie was even coming out until you mentioned it, and then when you said GDT, I'm like, who the heck is GDT? And then I'm sitting, and then I happened to put on Netflix that night, and all of a sudden it popped up like Frankenstein out today. I'm like, Guillermo del Toro. Oh, okay, GT. That makes sense. Okay, yeah. So I I actually watched it because of that. That's literally the reason that's literally the reason I ended up watching it is because you mentioned it and I happened to see it on Netflix. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm like, this works out perfectly.
I feel like this adaptation, because yes, like you said, Guillermo del Toro, he always puts his spin, like his fingerprint on everything that he makes. So it's a different Frankenstein. It's a different, like gothic romance. It's a different, like creature from the Black Lagoon that we're going to make to Edge of, wait, what's it called? The Edge of Water, the Sound of Water, whatever the film
Oh,
is called.
the Shape of Water. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. See, I'm bringing up everything else. So it's he always puts something into it. There's a scary movie, or one of my favorites, Pan's Labyrinth, which is for me a very weird, sad, political, musical, whatever. So I just think he puts his heart into things, and he create Pinocchio too, that the one that he made, and turns the world into his own, and yet stays in a way faithful to whatever material that he's adapting. So here it was Frankenstein, but it's also different. What do you think makes this adaptation shine?
I mean, personally, to me, there's a bunch of I had positives and negatives for this movie, 100%.
Tell
Um,
me.
I mean, what made this movie shine really was the way he approached it, the way he told it from like Dr. Frankenstein's story, and then he had like the creature tell his story, his side of the story, like or his continuation of the story. And that kind of blew me away because they usually don't do that. Usually the creature's like a secondary figure in the movie. And I mean, because before this, the best Frankenstein I've ever seen is the Kenneth Branagh 1994 one with Robert De Niro as the creature. Like
Yes.
I think I watched that in high school as part of like an English class, and I after we read the book, and I freaking loved that movie. Like that movie's amazing. He did a great job at it, but this one was different from that, but it was still amazing. Like and the cinematography, I mean, just the picture itself was all the backgrounds and everything was just beautiful. Like you couldn't have done it better. I mean, compared to where we came from almost 100 years ago with Universal Frankenstein, where like it's black and white and it's in like a very Germantown set. Like it's not even placed it's not even like in a real German town. So it's like I mean, they worked with what they had back then. I get that, but it's just like the evolution of these movies is. amazing, just amazing.
Okay, so you mentioned the Kenneth Branagh Robert De Niro version, which also I liked for particular reasons. One of them I think is Robert De Niro kind of playing the creature. And I watched it very young and I was very sympathetic, but there are things that I didn't like, including Kenneth Branagh himself. But I just loved the vibe of it and I loved the idea of seeing the monster through a different thing because before that I was like a Frankenstein fanatic. I would watch all the scary movies with him and I would be like, wow, yes, the monster is so scary. I even watched, I think, like Werewolf versus Frankenstein. So I'm just big addict to the story. But then the Kenneth Branagh adaptation came and I felt like, wow, okay, this is different. And I like De Niro sympathizing. But here, I think the creature arc took even a more sympathetic or a more profound virgin or a more profound way to look at the creature. So I want to know, what did you think of the performances? Did you like them, dislike them? And what are the negatives? You didn't tell me the negatives, you only told me the positives.
Well, I don't want to give away the whole thing in one spiel, but um, I like I mean, Isaac Oscar, I forget how you say his name always, but I've been a fan of him for a long time. From when he played Poe Dameron in this new Star Wars movies to, I mean, his portrayal of Apocalypse and Moon Knight, like he's done so many pop culture movies over the last decade and a half. That's ridiculous. I always liked him as an actor. He did a good job as Dr. Frankenstein. I wouldn't say he did a bad job. He definitely portrayed the descent into madness very, very well. Like he's good at playing that type of character. So, it was a really interesting descent into madness that he portrayed. But I don't know. What do you think of him as Dr. Frankenstein?
I, yeah, it
So, I
wasn't
mean,
like
and
my favorite. So it wasn't like my favorite performance. Like I thought there were better performances in the film. So I was like,
yeah,
okay, yeah, sure, kill him or do whatever
I mean,
about. I don't care.
I mean, I'm not gonna. He did the job well, though. He did it well. I mean, but the actor who played the creature, the monster, I
Yeah,
don't know his. I saw his name. I don't recognize it from anything else really. He's kind of like a new name to me.
you haven't
But
watched him in anything at all? Wow, Jeremy, that's a
who
first.
who is okay?
Okay,
Who
he's one
who
of those,
who?
we have like the Brat Pack of the new generation, like we have the
Oh,
new
he.
Hollywood, Jacob Elordi. This is him.
Um. Okay, I can actually tell you. I'm looking at his movies now. I have not seen him. Oh, wait a minute. He was in Pirates of the Caribbean. Oh, I must have seen him in Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't.
Pirates
Oh,
of the
he
Caribbean.
was
Seriously, he
okay. He
was
wasn't
in
in one.
Pirates of the Caribbean doing what, being a baby?
He was in Dead Men Tell No Tales, but
I,
I
I haven't
he's such
watched
a
him
low
in that.
ranked actor.
Mm.
He's not even in the top like 10 actors. So he must have had a really small role.
Exactly.
But
This is what I'm
other than
telling you.
that, I mean, I have never. Actually, what's this one? Oh, the Mortuary Collection. He was in that.
Oh, he's been
Oh,
in
yeah,
film
he
for
was in
so
this movie.
long.
He was in this movie, The Mortuary Collection, back in 19. And I saw that. I don't know what character he was. It was a decent movie, but I don't know what character he was. But other than that, I haven't seen anything else he's
So you
in.
didn't
Like, so
watch Priscilla or, like The Narrow Road to the Deep North? Euphoria, of
I never even heard
course.
it.
Yeah.
I never heard of any of those movies. So, yeah, I mean,
Whoa. Okay.
um, I I got kids. Unless I'm watching stuff for a podcast, I don't watch movies. Like I don't have time. My TV's on Miss Rachel or Sesame Street like 90% of the day.
That's so cute. Oh my God. I would love to watch
So it's
cartoons all day. Now
trust
that's
me.
something someone would pay me to do, but not with
Uh, uh,
kids because I'm
I w-
very anti-kids. I'm not gonna lie to
I wish I got paid to freaking watch these things all day. I really do. But
you.
I mean, so I never seen Jacob Elordi in anything else really, well, besides the two movies I mentioned. But I didn't even know who he played. But I mean, he played the creature very, very well. He the the emotion he gave to the role and
Yes.
just the line delivery and everything, and like the learning to speak aspect he gave it was incredible. Like really incredible. I enjoyed the hell out of him as the creature. He did an amazing job. He should win awards.
I love your perspective. Why? Because it's a totally different perspective from mine. I'll tell you why now in a second. Because you have never seen him in anything. Me, I was like, whoa, oh my God, I can't stand Jacob Elordi. He's always playing, like the tall, smug, like full of himself as in every single role that he has done. Or let's say, so that I won't be kind of like unfair to him in most of the roles. Okay, he was playing Elvis in Priscilla, and he played a very, very terrible character called Nate Jacobs on the TV series Euphoria, where he's like, like the dude who's like just being a toxic masculine figure and women falling in love with him insanely, including Sydney Sweeney. And then he kind of like they always try to say he's the new Brando, he's the new, James Dean, whatever. I hate this. When they do this with an actor, I start having antagonistic feelings toward him. And then I see him here, and he's playing against stereotype, against type in a way that blew me away. He was very broken, he was very fragile, he was very, like a thing, basically, not just a masculine figure, that is full of him. I think he played a movie where he played young Richard Gere, an aspiring writer. But again, that smug character, that character that is so full of his masculinity. And then you see him here, and he's just so broken and fractured, as if he is composed of different pieces together, like a character actor, unlike his, like overt persona. He was in Saltburn, a movie directed by Emerald Fennell. Well, he also was playing, like the hot heartthrob, the object of affection. So whoa, 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 he's repeating himself. But then I saw this one, and he's playing it so good. And I feel like, oh my God, he has a lot to offer. And I feel like I misjudged him for some reason. And I really felt passionate about him. Yes, he has to be nominated for awards. He is the top performance in the film. And I think the film wouldn't have succeeded if not for him. When he's starting to learning to talk, learning to move his hands, the way he carried his physicality, which usually he carries very, very openly and kind of like confidently in other films, it blew me away. I didn't expect that of him. I didn't expect him to be that good. So I'm like
Yeah,
you, like I'm
it's
in the same boat. Yes.
exactly. I mean, the way he says Elizabeth the first time, like that just blew me away. Like I loved his portrayal of the creature, and like his scenes with the old blind man like were incredible. And it just it made you feel so much sense. And actors like him, they sometimes need this one movie that will really like give them a breakthrough role into like bigger movies and into different characters. Because a lot of actors get, I mean, look at all the comedy actors, Adam Sandler, Tom Hanks, that start off with like these very sitcom like comedy movies. And then eventually, like they did like one serious role, like Sandler in like Punch Drunk Love or Spanglish, or Tom Hanks in like Big when he finally did like Big or Philadelphia Story, and like all of a sudden they're recognized as like great actors because they find out that these people are versatile actually. Now they're not just typeset for one role in every movie that's the same exact role, even if they're a lead.
I agree because for me, when I watched Punch Drunk Love, one of my favorite movies ever for the first time, I think I was like, wow, is this Adam Sandler? I can't believe he can do something like that.
Yeah, I mean I felt the same way when I saw. I mean I knew he was capable, but actually I think it was Mr. Deeds where it really showed me like he had emotion, like he could do emotion, and but Spanglish like that really just opened my eyes with him and like that he could do so much more. Like he could do rom-coms and he could do like more romantic drama movies like that. Like it's just and that's an amazing movie. I keep saying I gotta go back and watch that again because it's been like a good 15 years, but it's such a good movie.
Yes, I agree. Okay, so cinematography, costume design, a lot of the things here, the lighting, like the lighting department here, the sound, the way I think Del Toro directed the actors and told them how to move and how to interact, the way the scenes were structured. What else do you think made the film, like seriously an engaging experience to watch when you discovered it all of a sudden on Netflix after
Um,
I recommended
I
it?
I mean honestly, Frankenstein's supposed to be a horror movie, so the gore, the gore factor in this movie was phenomenally done, but not like BC horror movies where it's like overly done. It was just like that kind of perfect level. I mean, the scene where the creature is getting rid of the wolves, put it nicely. Like that is brutal, some of those kills, but there are wolves attacking you. I don't feel bad for the wolves because they're being dicks. But and and I mean, when he gets shot by the hunter and he rips the dude jaw off, like spoilers, people. But I'm sure if you watch this, if you're listening to this, you've already watched the movie,
Exactly.
hopefully.
Yeah, don't
But
watch it if you didn't, you guys. We'll put a spoiler warning.
but I mean, yeah, when he rips that guy's jaw off, like it's just like, okay, I don't feel bad for this hunter because he just shot him, and they didn't even let
Exactly.
him. They didn't even like. They just walked in like, what? It's a thing from the woods. What are you doing here? Like, give him a minute to explain. He can talk now. Like, give him a
Exactly.
minute to explain. Like, let the old man say something. I'm sure he was still alive at that point. Like, let him say something like, "No, he's a friend." Like, I mean, it's just the gore factor in this movie was freaking phenomenal. It blew me because Frankenstein's supposed to be a horror movie because it was Universal horror to begin with, and
Yes.
even those ones are not really horror movies as we know them today. They're back then they were just they're more paranormal. They're not even paranormal movies. I mean, I don't even know what the hell they call them anymore, but they're they were just so tame that they weren't really horror movies. I mean, I guess back then they were because that's all you had, and it was a new element. But I mean, and you want to talk Wolfman versus Frankenstein, or Frankenstein meets the Wolfman.
Hmm.
I freaking hate Lon Chaney the Wolfman. It is one of the worst characters ever written
Ooh. Wait, why? Because I really like this movie.
because he's a bitch. You're you
Explain.
you are a dog man slash werewolf, which I hate that word, but dog man slash werewolf, which whatever you want to call it. And oh, I'm just gonna sit here and cry because I want to be rid of this curse.
Why? Enjoy it. Embrace it. If I were him,
Exactly.
I would definitely, oh my God,
Exactly.
I would go on a killing rampage. I love it when a werewolf is like, yeah, let's do it. At least like Jack Nicholson in Wolf, he was like seriously kind of having the time of his life. Yes, he was trying to tame it, blah, blah, blah. But still, I felt like, yeah, let's
There,
just,
there's a movie from the 2000s called Big Bad Wolf. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out.
I have to because I love werewolves.
It's one of the best werewolf movies I've ever seen. The chick from Halloween Town is in it. The actress who played the girl in Halloween Town movies.
Okay, that's interesting.
It's
Is she the wolf?
no, no, no,
Oh, she just
no.
getting killed? No, poor baby.
No, she actually, well, I'm not gonna ruin it, but I mean, it's definitely a R-rated movie, so beware. But
Oh my God, I'm a
it's
sucker for R-rated horror. Are you I watch Video Nasty. Jeremy, you don't know me yet.
apparently I don't,
I'm a
but
bad girl. Yes, exactly. I love horror movies. I
who
love the nastiest the better, but also I love like suspense stuff, like things that are harbor on psychological horror. But just don't give me a 2 hour nothing and then do some action at the last 30 minutes. Just give me the whole
y-
thing.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I trust me, we're getting ready for like a sex horror movies bracket part one of my paranormal show, and some of these movies are freaking brutal. I mean, I love them, but they're brutal as hell. And like most people, like if people walked in and saw me watching these movies, they'd be like, "What the fuck is wrong with this guy?"
Exactly. Jeremy is not trustworthy. I don't want to spend the night alone with him.
I mean, I just watched Human Centipede 2 a couple days ago,
Goodness. No,
and
no. Okay. I went through the first one and that was it. No, I can't. No, I'm not going through any
oh,
similar experience
that
again because
that's
it's why?
the second one is 12 people. It's so much worse.
Because my friend Clay told me like he couldn't stand the second one. I think he couldn't go through it. And I told him like,
Well,
why Clay, babe? Because he
well,
told me because the guy, I felt that he was having too much fun. I was like, okay, I don't want to watch this
e-
movie.
well, that's I mean, I will say that's the great thing about the second movie is that it's they make this basically make it seem like the movie is actually a movie in this universe as well, and the main character is like fat a huge fat guy who lives with his
Ew,
mom, and
ew.
he's in a parking garage. He works in a parking garage, and like he's obsessed with the movie Human Centipede. So he like basically makes notes of everything he sees in the movie all the time, and he wants to do it himself.
Ew. That's so
Like it's
awful.
you would think, but I actually I mean yeah, some parts of it are pretty damn
You
gruesome, but
liked it, Jeremy? Oh my goodness. Okay, what's there to like? Tell me. Now, I'm trying to be very neutral
I mean
about this.
I mean if you like nastier movies, then it's definitely up there. And I mean, and I mean, it's a sex horror movie bracket, so obviously I'm watching movies to see how much like what the nudity value is, and like I'm trying to make them relatable to that category. So like that's the way I think about these when I watch them. So I mean, it's not really high in that level even, but I mean, there's nudity, but it's minimum. It's not overkill like a lot of movies. And the storyline is just really good. Like Human Centipede 2 has a really good storyline, and you feel sorry for this poor fat man who Like as you literally watch him laying in his bed in his underwear, and it's like, ugh, and like full ass crack and everything. And it's just like they wanted you to feel bad for him, but also be grossed out by him at the same time. Like that
Yes.
was that's what they were going for,
And they're
and it works.
succeeding, obviously. Oh my
They're
goodness.
succeeding. You feel bad for him because he's he's special. He's mentally disabled. He's special,
Yeah, and
but
then he likes kind of like putting people in reverse. That is
but
something very also sympathetic.
well
No,
because
thank you.
because he loves the movie and I mean, I'm not going to ruin the storyline, but he freaking just, he tries and fails to do what he wants to do
Ew, oh my goodness. Okay, I can imagine that. That sounds horrible. Thank you very much.
because unlike the guy in the movie, he's not a surgeon or doctor of any kind.
Exactly, he's a piece of shit loser, so of course he will fail at this,
So
so it makes total sense. Yes.
like,
Wow.
like, I mean, honestly, the funniest scene is because he draws like the perfect notes and everything on how to like sew the mouths to the assholes.
Goodness.
And and then the first person he goes to try to do that, he cuts into the guy's asshole or into the guy's ass cheek, and the guy ends up bleeding to death immediately.
Of
And
course.
he gets like all upset, and he's like, because he doesn't really speak in the whole movie. He just like whimpers and like cries when he's upset.
God, this is why I feel like Clay got traumatized by it because he was like, "Oh my God, this guy." So it was like, "Okay, thank you, Clay. I totally get it now."
But
Because we love
j
horror
j
movie, but not that horror movie. Thank you.
well, just because you're not gonna watch play, so instead of actually sewing things together, he just grabs a staple gun and staples people's lips to someone else's ass.
Goodness, that's so awful.
It's I mean I don't
Ew.
care I don't care about spoilers. That movie came out a long time ago,
No,
but
there's not,
it's
what's there to spoil or not spoil? Like, we're not spoiling The Godfather to someone who didn't see
oh,
it. Just spoil it already.
and he gets mad when the head of the centipede won't eat, so he literally puts a funnel down her throat and force feeds her canned soup,
Ew.
and
Oh my God.
and then he's just sitting there making like farting noises, and he's mad that it's not happening yet what he wants to happen, so he gets laxative and injects into each person.
Oh my goodness. Oh wow. Okay. That's like,
It's I'm not going into any more detail than that, but trust me, it gets that
of course it gets nasty. I can imagine like now the consequences of these actions. Wow. If you guys are fans or haters of Human Centipede, tell us what you think in the comments. So you don't like, but obviously now that you don't like Werewolf versus Frankenstein or whatever, because you have a like an elevated game in terms of horror movies. But what is your favorite werewolf movie then? Like, what is the werewolf movie that made you go like other than Big Bad Wolf? Like The
I mean,
Howling, like Dog Soldiers, like American Werewolf in Paris, in London.
I American Werewolf in London's classic, but it's not that great. Um, I mean, especially if you watch it nowadays. I didn't see that until like a year ago. So watching it nowadays compared to when it came out, like it probably was a lot better when it came out. But
Hmm.
I mean, I love Silver Bullet, the Stephen King short story turned movie with Gary Busey as the uncle. Freaking amazing movie. Not as good as the short story by Stephen King, of course. But I and I mean, Howling is I like Howling 2. Howling 2 was the best werewolf movie to me because Christopher Lee's in it as the hunter.
Which is classic. So this means you like Christopher Lee's Dracula.
I actually have never seen his Dracula yet. I There are so many horror movies that exist. I see I watch what I can for my shows and for other people's podcasts. I'm coming on if I have to, but I don't. That's the only reason I saw the first Human Centipede, which was somebody else's podcast I was going on. They wanted me to watch it, but I don't have time to just watch everything. Like I watch I have lists of what I watch. I use Letterbox on my phone, so I literally have a watch list. Like I put all the movies from the brackets I haven't seen into Letterbox, and I go down watch the movies that I can find easily first, and then I try to find the other ones if I can, because a lot of horror movies are not available anywhere. Like a lot of them are
That's
buy
so
only.
true. Exactly. It's so hard to pin down. Yes, that's true. That's true.
So, but I mean, yeah, Howling 2 is amazing, and then one of the other Howling movies is okay, but not great. I mean, they're all pretty damn good, but
So, so there is no perfect werewolf movie. This is what you want to say. Like they're good, but they're not
Howling 2 was pretty perfect, I'll say. And
okay.
Big Bad Wolf is an amazing werewolf
I
comedy.
have to watch this one. I
I
really
would
want to.
It's not a serious movie by any means, but it's and Honestly, what's the werewolf movie I've seen that's amazing? I mean, the Underworld series is pretty damn incredible for werewolves, especially Rise of the Lycans.
Mm-hmm.
I
That's
love
so
Rise of
true.
the I saw Rise of the Lycans in theaters back in like oh 05 or 06 when it came out. That's a freaking incredible movie.
Wow. Awesome. Oh, that's cool. That's amazing. Okay, so how do you pick the movies for your podcast then? Like you have a paranormal podcast. How do you pick the movies for that one?
Well, I mean, all the brackets in that show are just horror movies. All different categories. I used a couple different sites for rankings and just go
Mm-hmm.
by that. That way, I ain't making the rankings because I don't want to get yelled at for the rankings. So yeah, I'll use Flickchart or Ranker or whatever.
Okay. So this is how you discover movies along the way.
Yeah, I just use rankings from online and we go through them and we've done God 7 or 8 of them now at least, and we break them down like. They're on my YouTube if people want to check them out. But yeah,
Yes.
I mean, good. Yeah, I've seen a lot of horrible movies and some good movies.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually like that. The gems are few and in between, but mostly it's just crap that you have to watch and you have to talk about on the pod. Totally makes
Yep,
sense.
100%.
Okay, so do you have a favorite moment from Frankenstein that you felt like, wow? And you didn't, did you talk about the negatives? You didn't talk about the negatives, I think.
Well, okay. The main negative I had for it was because I mean, if you've read the book, if you read
Mhm.
Mary Shelley's original book, they because they kind of lead to it when they're on the ship and he says like, I want a bride, I want a partner, and they kind of skip over the whole part of the book where he makes him the Bride of Frankenstein, and they skip over that whole section of the book, and it kind of pissed me off like a lot that they just unless he's doing a part two, which I doubt because of the way it ended. But
Yeah,
I mean, unless they go along the route that the creature makes his own bride using the notes and whatnot, because he
but I
can learn
don't,
anything. He can
yeah,
learn
I don't,
anything.
yeah, I
He's
don't
highly
think Del
intelligent.
Toro does sequels, so I don't think they'll have a Bride of Frankenstein at some
He
point.
he did Hellboy 2, so I don't
Yeah,
know.
that was something else. That was like the blockbustery aspect of it. Yeah.
I love those movies. The Hellboy movies are amazing, but that goes into the comic book lover part of me. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know. That's the one negative thing I thought is that they didn't follow. I like when you follow the book, and they didn't follow the book really. I mean, I like the aspects of it they did, but you didn't complete the book, and that
So
kind of
you
pissed me
like
off.
the faithful adaptations. You're not into,
Yes.
like let's just okay, yeah, I get it now. Makes sense, makes sense. But I would have loved to see this particular creature with a bride because I think their scenes would have been very interesting. So I think this particular creature, I would have loved to see him exploring, like sexuality and sex and partnering with a woman. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, the romance aspect of it with the creature and the bride would have been 100% different than any other adaptation we've ever seen, and that's why I think it would be incredible.
100%. So, do you have a favorite moment? Do you have a favorite, like sequence of event? Because you mentioned the wolf fight. So, definitely, I think these are the scenes, the gory scenes are the ones that, wow, spoke to you. So, do you have anything
Well,
else?
I mean,
I think it's when it's
I
at its
liked,
best when it's the creature, but when
I
it's
liked,
about Victor's storyline, I'm not,
yeah.
yeah, I'm like, nah.
I mean, I like the way they run the whole thing, where it's him telling, where like they're both telling the captain of the ship their story. I like that aspect of it. That was really cool. Like that whole aspect of it was really cool, and it was a good storytelling method. It really was.
Yes, perfect. So, what is next for your show? Like, what is coming up next for you for Jeremy?
Oh, I mean, I'm on hiatus right now from doing Lives by Paranormal show just because I got so much backlog I don't need to, and I try to cut down my podcasting a little bit with the baby in the house. So, um, I mean, I still got my episodes releasing every week, twice a week. I mean, and we're still doing the Paranormal Primetime Supernatural thing every week. That's not going to change. So, I mean, that's the one aspect of it that keeps going no matter what. But and then my music show is 2 releases a week always, and we do lives we usually do lives once a week, and then specials every other weekend. So I mean, that's always going to be going on forever. So that doesn't end. So I mean, yeah, if you follow me on X, you'll see I'm always live. That's how. That's how Jaylan found me and reached out.
Yes, that's how I find Jeremy. That's true. So, how far are you into the supernatural episodes? Which season are you on now?
We're on four currently. I mean, I
Not
watched
five
the whole.
yet? Cool. I will still, I think,
Yeah.
because I'm destined to be on this show, guys, talking supernatural with these guys, because I loved up until the fifth season of Supernatural, and I'm obsessed with Dean Winchester, obviously. So I have to be on their show to talk about one of the episodes. I'm glad they are not yet ending with the ones that I love.
Nah. Oh, I mean, we both of us on the show have watched the whole series before, so I mean, it's we kind of. Oh, actually, no. Like Malachi didn't watch the whole series. He stopped after season six, I think. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious to see what he thinks once we get to that point because I want to see him with new episodes to him. But I mean, I thought the series was good until it ended. I really didn't. There really was only like one season I didn't kind of like, but we'll
Yeah,
get to
you
that
stayed
eventually.
with okay, because I love the first five seasons insanely. I think this is why I couldn't go on. And I watched season six, but it was like, okay, no, first five are like my classic. This is how Kripke wanted it to end. So this is why I was so passionate about it. But the first five seasons, oh my goodness, I was a crazy supernatural fan. Like I was on all the forums, I was on Live Journal, I was on everything. I was just obsessed with this show for a long time. So yeah. And I got a lot of
Oh,
people interested in it too. Like
it's definitely one of the best shows ever made. But
right. Oh my God, I can't even. And Jensen Ackles as Dean Winchester, I think one of the greatest characters ever made. I'm sorry, they always talk about Don Draper and like McDreamy or whatever, but they never or rarely mention Dean Winchester. Sorry, he's on that level.
yeah, I mean, I love Dean and Sam, but Dean's just freaking hilarious. I love Dean's comedy.
He's just insane. He's just insane. He's just so good.
Yeah, he really is just amazing everything he does. And we haven't got to my favorite episode with Dean. We haven't got to my favorite Dean moment yet, but we'll get there eventually.
Wait, which episode is that?
I don't know the name of it or the season even off the top of my head, but it's the pudding episode.
Season five. Oh, I hope I can be on this one then. Yeah, put it. Oh my God, I just love this whole episode, and I agree. It's one of the great, and there are many great Dean moments. Like Dean is a series of moments
Oh,
actually that is
we
just
we just did the one where he's in the car like singing along and drumming along to Eye of the Tiger, and that's just one of the classic scenes with him.
this is one of the classic scenes on TV in its entirety of TV shows. So I totally agree.
Yeah, I love Supernatural. That's why when Malachi said he wanted to like we did another show together a while back, and he's like, hey, I want to do this. I have this idea, and I'm like, shit, Supernatural? Hell yeah, I'm down.
I'm done for it. Yes. Awesome, Jeremy. Well, I had a great conversation. I took you away from your family and from your life, but thank you for being my guest here. It was awesome.
Oh, my pleasure. I definitely always down to do this again, and we'll definitely get you on Paranormal Prime Time one of these days.
Yes, and we will talk about another movie, I'm sure, along the run.
Oh, I always down to watch another movie. So, yep, definitely.
Yes. Hi, everyone. This is your favorite film critic, Jay or Jaylan Salah, as you formerly know her. Today, I have a recurring guest and one of my favorites, honestly, Morgan Phillips-Peate, who you all know from Twitter, from Hall of Film nominations, but he also has more and more projects coming up, and I can't wait to talk with him about it. But this is not what we are talking about today. We are talking about Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein and the impact it had on us. Morgan, so happy to have you again.
Thank you for having me again. I loved our first chat, and I'm sure this is like the second time of many, many more that we'll have together.
Yes, yes, and I will be on Morgan's too to talk many amazing movies coming up, so stay tuned for us. Morgan, today we are celebrating the brilliance that is the new Frankenstein. But I want to know your relationship to Frankenstein in general. Was it your favorite monster? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Were you into that, like Hammer installations?
I haven't actually tackled the hammer one specifically. I've like got introduced to all the monsters and stuff through the Universal monsters in the 30s and 50s, and um Me and my friend often watch films together, and we just went on a journey of watching the Universal monsters. My personal favorite is probably the first Creature from the Black Lagoon, and obviously Guillermo tackled The Shape of Water, which was just his love letter to that film,
Yes,
and he did it excellent. And then when it got announced that he was doing Frankenstein, I was like, that's probably the only person I'd trust to do it justice and like uphold the how magnificent the original 1931 one was with Boris Karloff, which was incredible.
most beautiful
And
ever. I love
for
him.
me, Guillermo, he could do the whole Universal stuff by himself, and I think he's the only person who can really do the film justice. But yeah, I just that's been my journey so far, and I've just loved diving into the Universal stuff and especially Frankenstein as well.
I think now that I'm thinking about it, Guillermo is one you would want him to do everything. I would want to see a Dracula adaptation. I heard he's planning to do Phantom of the Opera, and that blew me
Yes,
away because, like you said, no one but him can do a project of that caliber and bring, like the monstrosity, but also the
yeah.
vulnerability and the beauty to life.
What I
So
love though as well, he spoke about the Frankenstein one, and I don't think he will adapt it because he said in his opinion, and I was so happy to hear him say it. The ultimate Dracula film is Bram Stoker's Dracula by Francis Ford Coppola, and I totally agree.
I agree. I love this one so much. I
Yeah,
just want to, I
that
feel like,
one holds up like it come out last year still.
and
Like
it's
that
perfect.
it doesn't
Exactly.
need doing it wouldn't matter if he did it. It'd just be like, okay, cool, but you could have done, as you said, like Phantom of the Opera or even
Yes.
well, the Wolfman, because obviously the new one of that was not good.
No, no. And they have like Robert Eggers, I think, is doing a werewolf movie,
I
which would be
Eggers is the only
great.
other one I would trust.
Yeah, and they have different approaches to monsters on screen,
Yes.
I feel. Like one has more of a medieval gothic one, and Guillermo's is more on, like the carnivalistic, kind of like
Yes.
predatory, but also very, I don't know, it feels like to
It's
me it's
also very like religious in its core as
and
well, and
exactly. And
that's
has
just
many
his filmmaking anyway.
maternal themes. Like it's always about, I think, the mother and the creator. And so it's
I
very,
know on
yeah,
the documentary, Oscar Isaac said like he just focuses so much on broken relationships and does it so well, and I think that's so true because he said like his two favorite gothics are Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and Pinocchio because it's like they were created sons that were then just disowned and failures to the fathers.
so true, so true. But also, like you said, I mean, I love Bram Stoker's Dracula, Francis Ford Coppola. Oh my God, I adore this film. But I just want to see him doing, like, what would his Dracula be? Like, this is
Yes,
my idea. The idea of having something that you truly love and you're always skeptical, like, no, 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 don't do this movie, don't do that movie. Like a Zorro movie, for example. I
yeah,
love The Mask of Zorro and I love the original ones. But I really wanted to see, so what if someone else brought me a Zorro, but someone I trust with my
yeah,
monster? This is why when I heard he was making Phantom of the Opera, I was like, oh my God, how is he going to do it? Because when you love a filmmaker and you trust his vision, same goes for Robert Eggers doing The
yes,
Werewolf. So yeah, we are having now on our hands, I think it's an era of creators having unleashed imagination and
yes.
different views and bringing us magic. What do you think?
Yeah, I know as well. He's been like talking about this as like it's kind of been half in development since 2007 was the first time he was talking about making this film. And I did actually see that the original plan was actually to do it with Universal Studios, and Doug Jones was going to be the creature because obviously he worked in Pan's Labyrinth and Hellboy and all these other films. But obviously, then what happened? Universal shelved it. Netflix picked it up, and obviously they are reaping the rewards at the minute. They have had a great year, by the way, Netflix in their film choices.
Tell me,
And
give us the
one thing I
report.
yeah, and one thing I also saw, which would have been interesting, and it kind of dives us in immediately with talking about Jacob Elordi. The original person who was going to play the creature was Andrew Garfield.
Oh, thank God it wasn't him.
And
No
Guillermo
offense.
spent 9 months designing meticulously the look for Andrew Garfield's Creature, and then obviously, I think it was after the strike, there was scheduling conflicts, and Andrew had to pull out. Jacob Elordi got it, and then he only had 9 weeks to get his look together, and
Can you
they
believe it?
somehow absolutely nailed it. I mean, he was in. I know Oscar Isaac said he was waking up at like 2 a.m. to go to makeup, and it was like 11 hours, and it was just. He said, "I don't know how he didn't like have a breakdown doing that."
Exactly, exactly. But please give me first a report on how Netflix is thriving this season because you
I
are
mean,
our, like
obviously,
formal movie
the
itinerary.
the shock hit of the year, without a doubt, is K-pop Demon Hunters. Netflix had absolutely no idea it was going to be the machine that it is. And obviously they've had Frankenstein come out as well, and then recently Train Dreams as well is very
Beautiful film.
talked about. I've not got to it yet, but
You
they're
have
just
to.
really having a good year. I know they've also got that Adam Sandler film, I believe, coming
Jake
out as well.
Kelly, I
Yeah,
think.
and that's like in Academy talks as well. So like
Yes.
we could be in a world where Netflix have 3 Best Picture nominees, which is crazy.
Insane. You would never guess. You would
And
never
when you
guess.
consider as well, like the other streaming platforms like Prime aren't putting out nowhere near the quality of original movies,
No, no.
it's just insane. And obviously, Netflix are a front runner as well to acquire Warner Brothers because they're up for sale. I believe they are. I think it's Warner Brothers at least. I know one major studio is up for sale.
Oh my God. Okay, because you mentioned Jacob Elordi and Andrew Garfield, and I don't hate, I love Andrew Garfield, honestly. And I don't think I would have envisioned Elordi previously in the role, but I
No,
wasn't a fan at all. Like, Elordi wasn't on my love list. Like, I always associated him with Euphoria. I've seen him in multiple projects. The projects were good, and I was like commending his choices. But this one made me really
yeah,
realize there's something in him. He is a very good actor. He is great. He has a lot
yes,
inside him that probably wasn't explored because he wasn't working with the right auteurs. And I feel like this is a bit of a problem for some actors. Like when you work with the right director, the right project, you shine.
yeah.
So he blew me away. Tell me, what do you think of him?
Well, it's like I knew him mainly from Saltburn, which I'm sure a lot of
And
people did.
yes, and I like Saltburn as well.
I
Yes.
do as well. And then I also know that he played Elvis in Priscilla,
Yeah, I
which
watched
again worked,
Priscilla.
and both times worked with great female directors, and both times doing. It's fair to say, well, the Elvis one was a more realistic portrayal of who he actually was, and like
Yeah,
I
then
feel
Baz
like
Luhrmann's.
I feel like he's an actor that's not afraid to take risks, both. And I just when the trailer come out, I was like, Oscar Isaac, awesome. Christoph Waltz, awesome. Mia Goth, that
Yeah,
fits. And
good,
then Jacob Elordi, I
phenomenal.
was like,
Mhm.
that's quite interesting. And then you see the first scene where you see the creature, and you're like, oh yeah, this is absolutely perfect. Obviously, him being 6'5" and being such a presence on screen massively
Helped.
helps.
Exactly.
I know on the documentary that's on Netflix, which everyone should check out, he said that he studied Busho, which is a Japanese like dance, where that's also explores theme of death and darkness, but it's also like you move limbs isolated. He said, and that helped his movement and like develop just little things like that. But he just blew me away with this.
I love that you mentioned that he worked with female directors, and I love that this generation of actors, him, Paul Mescal, Harris Dickinson, they're not afraid. They worked with a lot of female directors already, and I think it
Yeah,
shows in them. I think this is why they are more comfortable with their feminine side or with the vulnerability because they worked a lot with female directors, and it's like the beginning of their careers or the prime of their careers. So
yeah,
what do you think? This generation is, I think, more adventurous and more daring than the generation before them, even though the
yeah.
before them one had like great acting legends and stuff.
I also feel like the young male actors now aren't afraid to play toxic males and understand that that's a relevant and prominent thing to portray. And, like, I feel like before, well, first of all, that just didn't get portrayed. Like there was nothing like that really. And now I feel like, especially in like the today's climate with everything in the world, like it's needed to do it, and the young male actors are just diving headfirst into stuff like that as well.
I agree. And Mia Goth, I think, she had very few scenes, but she had such an impact on the
Yes,
film. And I think that she gave the character of Elizabeth sides and angles that I'm not sure if I saw it before, if I saw it in any other version that I watched for Frankenstein, not even Kenneth Branagh's Frankenstein. What
yes.
did you think of her, especially the chemistry between her and Elordi?
When again, she was one of those people when she got casted. Obviously, everybody knows her from horror films, and my friend Charlie actually watched it by himself, and he hates horror films. And as soon as he saw me, Goth, he went, "Hang on, is that the girl who's always in horrors?" He said, "Have I like screwed myself here? I'm going to be scared." I went, "No, trust it." And like at the end of the film, he said, "I felt like it's the end of a theatre production. I should have stood up and clapped at my TV." Um, but Mia Goth was just like it's in her name. She was born to play gothic characters, and as you said, like in previous iterations, I just don't ever feel like her character got expanded on as much as she did, even in the little scenes. And her chemistry with Jacob Elordi is just incredible. And I think the main takeaway as well, why her scenes are so memorable, is her costumes are just so visually striking, and I think also represent moments of a character's development and the relationships and everything. And I just think the casting was literally perfect. You couldn't have got better casting for this film.
I love that we were tackling Robert Eggers and Guillermo because del Toro because they are both Gothic directors in their own rights. But I feel like Eggers' world is more drenched in darkness and grays. But
Yes,
even though horrible things happen most of the time in Guillermo del Toro's films, but they're very colorful. Sometimes the color is too much and it's saturated and the hues
yes.
are intense. What do you think, possibly as film analysts and cinephiles as we are, differs this world, this kingdom from this kingdom, even as horrifying as this one is as the other?
I know again in the documentary he mentioned about the color schemes, and like in the first act it was very dark and then just like gold, and then in the when you see Victor as a child, it's black, white, and red color scheme. He said, and then when it comes to like the later act, it's just all color. And like I think that just shows like obviously where we are mood wise in the film as well. And I just think his use of color and especially cinematography in certain shots have always been like my favorite thing about a Guillermo del Toro film. And yeah, I just think like the correct way I'd describe this film is mesmerizing. It's just so visually stunning to look at.
And I feel like he kind of closed it. I don't want to see any other Frankenstein adaptation because I wouldn't,
Yeah,
there is nothing else to dig. Like you said about the Dracula one, that Francis Ford Coppola kind of like closed the lid on that. And even if you compare a lot of the things that came after, they were very pale in comparison.
yeah.
So it totally makes sense that now, why would anyone else? Why would I watch? Kind of like I think Nosferatu brought a
I was
different
just about to say
form
it's
of
the exact same thing
vampirism.
for me with Nosferatu.
Exactly. Like you cannot have that breed of vampiric world again. What I need
Yeah,
is to see more werewolves. Yeah.
Eggers did a perfect send off, I think, for that. Like that's in the modern world. That's as much as you can do with a remake, true to everything.
100%, 100%. And I feel like Guillermo del Toro's films deserve a little bit digging because the relationships and the love stories are very maternal, paternal, embryonic in a way. It's about rebirth and it's about death. And you mentioned religious themes. So,
Yes.
what do you think makes his work that unique and his themes that prominent, but also very, I feel like very heartbreaking at times?
Yeah. I feel like with his themes, he's never preachy. with what he puts across on film, and like Pan's Labyrinth as well. That was the first actual film of Guillermo that I ever watched. And then it wasn't until I got older, I was like, oh, he also did Hellboy, which I was like, that's the same guy who made that. And then watching Shape of Water, that's like his films are so similar but so different, and they stand out. And that's obviously a very, very hard thing to do because a lot of filmmakers have this one style, and kind of you can look back at the filmography and it all blurs together. But Guillermo's all stand out because of multiple different reasons. Sometimes he'll explore themes more in depth in one film and then change the themes in the next, and he just changes enough but keeps it the same, where you're watching a Guillermo del Toro film, and that is a hard line to balance. I really, really just think he's one of the best filmmakers, certainly of the last however many years, and he's one of one. Like nobody makes a film like him, and that's a joy because we're in an age now where everyone feels like they make the same thing, and it all feels blurred and mushed into one. Where he's like, "Oh yeah, that's a Guillermo del Toro film."
Great. There is still excitement for cinema.
Yes,
There's still a reason to be excited about films.
there's
Which
certain directors that have that at the minute, where it's like, okay, you're the hope in a quite a dark time for cinema and the world.
exactly, where I feel like even original films are kind of like swept away in place for films that are money-making vehicles
Yeah,
and that would bring in more and more sequels and spin-offs and stuff like
look at the
that.
top 10 highest grossing films of the year. I think there's
Tell me.
one original.
Sinners only, right?
Sinners isn't even in the top 10 now. Demon Slayer's just knocked it out.
Oh.
I
So
think
what?
it's like 11. Yeah.
F1 or something? What is the one that is like the original?
F1's obviously
Yeah.
original, and then there's one. It's actually the highest grossing film of the year, and I don't know what it is. It grossed 2.2 billion.
Is it like
Uh,
the NE's the
it's
Chinese
something like
one?
that. Yeah,
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 something
yes,
like
yeah.
yeah, yes, I
I
can
had
tell.
no idea about the film, and it's the highest. It's one of the highest grossing films ever. I was like, oh, okay.
And how do
But
you not know about
everything
it?
else is a rehash or a remake or a prequel or a sequel, and a
Exactly.
majority of them aren't good either.
That's the
Unfortunately,
problem. Exactly. That's the problem. Like even if they because now I feel like next year they're gonna bombard us with Devil Wears Prada 2, Practical Magic 2. And I know like
the next 28 years later,
exactly so it's a lot. Like, yeah, I know, good, yay, blah blah blah. Let's get excited. But I don't really feel excited because it feels like
I don't.
recycled stories and it feels like we're just out of imagination and out of
Yeah. Well,
creativity.
this year in a whole has been horror's year.
Yeah.
It's one of the best years for horror I think they've
Mm-hmm.
had in decades. Like between this, you've also got obviously Sinners isn't a traditional horror, but it's got elements. Weapons was obviously
Mm-hmm.
that again. A studio did not see that coming as the hit it was, and there's just been a lot of horror related and horror themed films, and
Yes.
it's great, and they've all been good.
Osgood Perkins, I think, had two films
Yes,
released this
I'm
year.
not as huge on Osgood, but like I know he's very popular.
But I feel like he's going downhill. I feel like he needs to step down, kind of like Luca Guadagnino. Like,
Yeah,
Luca, honey, when I saw After the Hunt, no, I was like, okay, maybe people are being harsh. I watched it and I felt like, take a
yeah, and
step back,
then you've
take a
got
breather.
Yorgos doing Yorgos Sings with Begonia, which I thought was magnificent.
I have to watch Begonia. Like, I can't because I feel like, okay, people are conflicted, but I'm a Yorgos Lanthimos girl. So I will always love his films. So I need to watch it and then, I will see because you
It's
loved it.
wild,
That's good. Yeah, it's not that he's always not everyone's cup of tea. Like if people
which
watch
is totally
Dogtooth,
fair. Yeah,
so if people watch Dogtooth, I think because they are more familiar with his Americanized ones. But seriously, there are
yes.
films of his, and I feel like some people hated the one about the marriages and being single, the seagull or something like that. The
Well,
lobster.
yeah, yeah.
People
It
hated,
ties.
and I love the lobster. So I feel like yeah, when he's weirder, people tend to like go back to
Yeah,
Poor Things, and the favorite. But I feel like I like him when he's weird.
yeah. Well, it ties into like Guillermo because he's always just him, and he makes the films I feel like he wants to watch. Except for whatever reason, everybody loves all of his films. Like he's not really a he's not a director really that has like a bunch of haters really.
A lot of people like, but I feel like they started his popularity kind of like went downhill with some of the negativity surrounding poor things. I don't know. Maybe this is how I saw it because I feel like he was more celebrated back then, but then I feel like he took a break from acting, and I think this is a very good idea. I wish Luca would do the same, but I feel like Luca is like, no, I'm going to make more movies. Same goes for Osgood Perkins. I think you
Yeah.
guys both would benefit from a break.
Yeah, everybody's working, and often the best actors, actresses, directors are the ones who take a break and step back and go, okay, what's next?
Exactly. I totally agree. I totally agree. So, what are your favorite moments from Frankenstein?
Oh, that is a hard question because I could just sit here and be easy and say the whole film. Because honestly, for me, there is pretty much no bad bit, and there's no bit I can nitpick either. Like I just enjoy, it's in my top four of the year for a reason. It's my third favorite film of the year, only behind Sinners and One Battle After Another. Which, when coming into the year, I definitely didn't think I'd be saying that. Because as much as I trust him, I was like, I'm working with Netflix. There's a lot of moving pieces that could have gone wrong. Um, but the one thing I really love, and it just really touched me, was the creature's relationship with the blind man, played magnificently by David Bradley, who's
It's
one of my
perfect.
favorite English actors. He's
Ever.
so good. As soon as I realized it was him, I was like, this is going to be incredible. And it was heartbreaking. Um, and again, I love the change of like from the original of what happened. Like it was a very short scene.
Yes.
He got figured out quick, and then it just went to hell. Whereas this, like, we actually got a relationship formed, and then obviously heartbreakingly ripped apart, and it just hit like a ton of bricks. It really
Yes.
did.
It did. It did.
I mean,
Perfect.
my other favorite thing of the film, two things: the cinematography, as I mentioned, is just incredible, and the score is
Yes.
magnificent.
The costume design as well. I wish there would
Yes,
be like the hair and makeup
there's
and
a
the
lot of
costume design,
technical
obviously.
awards I think come Oscar time they will win or potentially just miss out because of a lot of sinners.
What I want is at least a nomination. Like I'm sure they will get nominated for hair and
Yes.
makeup and costume design because they totally deserve it. But I wish that Elordi would be in the awards circle because he totally deserves that best
Yeah.
supporting
I,
nomination.
I'm not sure when it comes to the Oscars who you'll get it, but I'm hoping in one of the other season
Yes,
awards he
exactly.
gets it.
The SAG, the BAFTAs,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
the Golden
I
Globes,
feel
these
like
things.
sometimes they try hard to match with the Academy. It's just like do your own thing because the Academy will do what they do.
Whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Well, this year especially, it is a stacked year for the male acting category.
I'm sure that it will be like Timmy versus DiCaprio, but
I
DiCaprio
hope
will
not.
take it.
I hope not.
I don't, I'm not really big on Timmy Chalamet at all, especially like,
Timmy's getting to Meryl Streep territory where
yeah,
it's like
which
that. It
is
feels like they're
very
nominating him now until he wins.
cringy. I swear I'm starting to get really tired of him, bored of his acting choices. He's now
I
that one's chasing, like the acting nominations and for me this is very cringy. I
for
don't care
me,
if he doesn't think.
his best roles he's never actually been nominated for an Oscar for, and it's like,
Agree. I totally
yeah,
agree. Like this is the things that I loved about him. I thought he was very daring. I thought he was bringing in a new wave of acting. But
yeah,
now, like, yes, I understand. Like, no one understands me. No one is in my shoes. You know what I mean? Like the way he's giving all these statements. But this is not the kind of acting that I love to support,
yeah.
or the kind of artist that I feel like interested in
That
supporting.
unfortunately he's playing the game and he's one of the best at playing the game, hence why he's reaping the rewards of
Yes,
that.
I
Whereas
agree.
some of
I
the
agree.
older actors, they're not about that. They don't care, so they're just going to do what they do. And if they get nominated, cool. If they don't, they don't. They don't care.
But I feel like some of the younger ones are also different from him. Like I feel like he's more
Well, Paul
classic.
Mescal is just working his ass off, and he's
Exactly.
choosing roles that he's so well suited for him.
Yes,
And
he
now
is.
Jacob Elordi's doing the same, and Oscar Isaac's
Same.
always done that.
Yes,
I feel like
100%.
Mia Goth always does just whatever. Like she's like, oh, that sounds fun.
Yes,
Christoph Waltz it's just incredible.
the best is brilliant. So
He's
yeah,
so good.
you just nailed it. He is the new Meryl Streep, and I find this annoying, honestly. So yeah, when
Yeah,
it if and what I feel like it will come down to him and DiCaprio, I will definitely support
I
DiCaprio. I
I feel
supported
like
Adrian Brody last year, but also
yeah,
because it was
I
deserved.
still don't know how he got nominated last year for Bob Dylan.
Exactly.
That was a bad performance.
Bad performance, bad film. Everything about this movie sucked, and he was not Dylan in the least bit. He sucked. He was awful. This
The
everything
voice,
about this movie was terrible. Everything about his
yeah,
acting was terrible. About his singing, I don't know. So yeah, it
yeah,
was. He keeps getting complimented and all. So this is not something that you, as a true art lover, would definitely
yeah,
support. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So
I
okay,
did also see
tell me.
the for like the tower when that explodes. They did a Wes Anderson. They built a set and blew that up of a miniature like building.
Yes,
They did that for a lot of the shots as well. So they were because I know Guillermo said like the people who did it, they said it's maybe one of like 10 people in the world who can do this, and I just really love seeing like the Wes Anderson esque set building,
yes,
but the actual full scale sets were insane. Again,
brilliant.
Guillermo's one of the only directors studios will actually let build sets because everyone else it's just stand in front of a blue screen or a green screen and we all do the work and it'll look terrible. Whereas
Yes,
then you get masters of the art where they're like, okay, that you do it the old way, and then you're like, okay, this is 10 times better than
you will
anything.
feel.
Yeah,
You will feel, even I feel like when I'm watching like old school movies where there used to be special effects and makeup on monsters, even if sometimes looks primitive, it's 1,000 times better than creating these things visually
yeah,
now and digitally and with CGI and crap. You feel like, oh my God, this is a vampire attack or werewolf attack and it's all CGI. It looks awful and it sucks.
yeah.
So when you see the handcraft and the hands that built something, you have that appreciation deep down for this.
Yes. Well, like in the wolf attack scene, they actually had wolves on set bite people like with actual like protection,
God.
and then they CGI'd on top of the wolf to make it obviously ripping into the body and everything. And they yeah, just stuff like that they
This
did.
is why the
And I
scenes
know,
stand
like you
out.
said, when Victor's making the creature, he wanted it to feel like a butcher's shop, not like it's a laboratory and he's a professional. He said because what he's doing is breaking bones, putting them together. He said that's like a butcher. So like the props guy said, "Oh, I've got like a couple body parts. Like, where do you want them?" He went, "No, I want them all." He said, "Just dump them everywhere." So it looks like he's been working. Like he said, so you kind of actually like, oh my god, how many people's bodies has he like used to create the creature?
Exactly, like a mortuary. Like you could feel like
Yeah,
this, he has been stealing corpses, which is very morbid. But also, this movie made me really dislike Victor. I felt like, oh my God, you're a terrible person. And I'm
yeah.
happy because whenever I read the novel, I remember hating him. So yeah, so this movie kind of solidified that. So thank you,
Because
Guillermo,
I
for
know he
that.
said to Oscar Isaac, I hope you're prepared to go from a good guy to a bad guy real quick. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm ready." Like he warned him, he's like, "You're not going to come out looking good in this."
He's right. He's right. I
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
stand him. Well, what is next for Morgan? Because you were telling me a lot of exciting things, and I can't wait to be part of them.
yeah. So obviously, I started this year doing YouTube and the Hall of Film, which is a community voted like Hall of Fame where we induct actors, actresses, films, and directors. The voting for that has stopped now until probably after the Oscars because I'm
Brilliant
focusing more
decision.
on doing
Yes.
the podcasts and like going on people's podcasts, but also I'm going to do a project with a lot of people, hopefully, where I ask them questions about like their favorite films of the years, disappointments, and then the big one being Oscar predictions. And then in the build up to that, like I'll be doing a watch along live stream like I did last year at the Oscars. Hopefully, this time I'm not crying because Adrian Brody has rambled on for 20 minutes.
This will
Um,
kill me if I was there live streaming it. No,
well,
I just
it's I
watched
was
like a
live
summary.
streaming. I finished at 4:30 in the morning. It would have
Goodness.
probably been 4, but thank you, Adrian. So hopefully this year I'll have more people watching, and more importantly, I'll have people joining me to keep my sanity when I
Yes.
watch it with them. Yeah,
But your popularity grew. I'm sure that like we will have a bunch of, like
yeah.
cinephiles and stuff. Yeah, because I can feel
Yeah,
it
I'm
now.
hoping like a bunch of like 5 maybe people, hopefully all on the call watching the Oscars together, so we can all be happy or miserable or split or
Or
yeah,
get angry together, like, no,
yeah.
boo,
Like one person who will be joining, if Wicked is a nominee or God forbid for him a winner, I think he'll have a breakdown. So we'll see, we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. Morgan, I love this conversation so much, and I always love talking to you. And I can't wait to be on your YouTube channel too to discuss films upcoming. So thank you for being here.
No worries. Thank you for having me as always.